Hey everybody, I'm Tommy and you are on the boat. Let's start with this one, Kendra. So millions of taxpayers' dollars needs to scale back at some and help others that are missing. Children and adults. Elite gets special treatment. Savannah can hire more help. None else gets this much. So should we give her up? Let's call this a wrap. All right, everybody, have a good night. I'm Tommy. We're going to just call this. You know what, Kendra? I'm sorry, but that sucks. I bet if it was your mom, you'd have a different attitude. Here's the deal. Honestly, I find that offensive. This has nothing to do with the fact that the woman is rich. I'm sorry, it doesn't. The fact that her daughter's famous absolutely has affected this. But if you think it's time to pack this up, maybe you're on the wrong friggin' show. Not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not. I understand where you're coming from. Grandmothers. All of us have grandkids. A lot of us, at least demographic-wise. I'm not going out on a limb here to say that most of us have people that we have kids that are getting on to the age of having grandkids. It's sad if you feel like we ought to pack this in because this woman's daughter makes a lot of money. I'm sorry, but that's despicable. There's 350 of you in the live chat. Do me a favor, smack the subscribe button, hit the bell for notification, hit the like button. It really bothers YouTube. Yeah, I'm not getting rid of the person. I don't think they're a troll. I understand where they're coming from. A woman was just abducted, and a bunch of you have sent me emails. You know, she worked for the government. This is involved. Looks like they may be. It looks like it's obvious what happened, right? There's nothing obvious about what happened here. I think that Neckbeard's involved. A lot of other people do. That doesn't mean that it's a lock. Louisa, good to see you. Just your own. Barbara, wait, how are you? Roberta, always a pleasure. Charlotte, Brooks, Savannah's mom is all our moms. Oh, there you go. There's a comment. There's a comment, right? We are very concerned. Money has nothing to do with this, right? Looking for a mom. I mean, for the love of God, honest to God, you want to make this about money? You want to make this about elitism? Maybe time to get yourself, in line. That's a frightening concept to me. I'm sorry, but it is. I don't care whether they're rich or poor or anything else. We have seen cases like this that didn't involve rich. And when it doesn't, you know what they say? They're white. If they weren't white, how about just as a tragedy? How about this is hard and everybody in the world is hurting over it? Is that too much to ask? Am I a dick? I'm probably a dick. Honestly, I've made a career of it. It's not going to change now. But this is getting sad, and let me tell you why. There is 300 of you in here and 500 in the chat. That's what I'm talking about. Do me a favor and smack the like button. Hit the bell for notification. And then hit subscribe. I promise you, you'll thank me later. This is one of those situations where you have to start wondering whether or not the police are now, at this point, almost a hindrance. What we're hearing now is that there was DNA that was captured from the crime scene. And we knew this, right? Didn't come from a glove, but some. Oh, for the love of God. There we go. This is one of those days where that hat just isn't going to work. We're hearing a lot about the fact that the blood on the inside of the crime scene looks a lot like the blood on the outside of the crime scene. We saw that. When Brian walked up and filmed it, Brian Enton, great guy, good reporter. But we saw blood, and they said it looked like droplets, and the drops were dropped straight down. They weren't at an angle, which means chances are they weren't running off with the person, right? They say it looks like that on the inside as well. Whether or not that is the truth, how the hell is anyone going to know? But if it is the truth, does that mean she was carried? What does it mean, right? I don't know. You don't know. But what they are telling us is that the DNA they are testing right now, they're having a difficult time separating DNA from one another. What does that mean? Well, I did a little research on that today. Let's say that you get contact DNA. Contact DNA would be, I touch Johnny Scoville, I go to a crime scene, I touch something. Now my DNA, Johnny's DNA, are both going to be at that scene, right? So that becomes an issue. They have to separate the DNAs. How do they do that? If they have a DNA profile of somebody. Now, we know they have a DNA profile of Nancy because she has already been tested. The blood on the porch is hers. How did they figure that out? They probably did it to a hair, something from a toothbrush, anything along those lines that they took from the inside that said, this is her DNA, we could say the blood on the porch is hers. If there's 2 DNAs, you can go, all right, let's separate these 2. What if there's 3 DNA profiles and only one of them is identifiable? What if there's 4 DNA profiles and only one is identifiable? After you get rid of the one you can identify, trying to separate those, I guess it's not as simple as we think. It's not a matter of going like this, because we don't know if this DNA matches that DNA. It's hard to separate them if you don't know who it is you're trying to separate it from. So we're in an absolute fecal matter show. And unfortunately, we thought this was going to be a hope. A lot of us, you can put a 2 in the chat right now if you thought that the DNA inside the house was hopeful, right? Most of us are going to put a deuce up there. The truth of the matter is we don't have any idea where this DNA came from. Now, very often DNA can get onto a crime scene that it has nothing to do with, right? And that's a sad thing, but it is also the reality. If there was no spike on the pacemaker data, do you think that maybe because she knew who the person was, wasn't startled? Well, be perfect. Sorry. South America. Why? Well, you live in America. Figure it out. Sorry, but it's the truth, man. America right now is a tough place to live, isn't it? Isn't it? Tell the truth. I love America. I grew up the most patriotic kid you've ever seen in your entire life. And then I watched my country go to hell in a handbasket. And if this case isn't pointing that out, well, then miss me with it. You know what I mean? Go ahead and hate me. It is what it is. Unfortunately, they sent all of this blood to Florida. Now, the lab in Florida, I'm not bagging on it. The lab in Florida has absolutely cured multiple cases like this. However, what if there are only 7, maybe 6, maybe 5 cells that can be tested? Them testing it is going to ruin anyone else testing it. Maybe, just maybe, Sheriff Nano should have sent this to the FBI lab at Quantico, Virginia. I'm sorry, people. Here's the deal. If I were going to buy a Rolex tomorrow, there's only 3 places I would buy it. For real. Because there are 3 places out there that are so damn good at making sure that every single part inside that watch comes back to Rolex. I could find 100 different places that would say, this is a Rolex, I guarantee it. Whether they would take the back off and do all of the research necessary to say, there's nothing Franken-watch in this. Sorry, I'm a watch guy. There's no Franken-watch. This is legit. That's what Quantico could have done. And they could have also then immediately peeled it off and put it into the CODIS database, which is all the people that have been busted for a crime in the United States and left their DNA. Unfortunately, that's not where we're at right now. And that's sad because it didn't need to be that way. Wow. Sharon Z says, hey, I am back with a new scoop that reporter with the law enforcement to me tonight. Come on now. Don't do this to me tonight. Are pressuring to let the case go politics. Not my theory, just the messenger. Here's what I'll tell you. I don't sleep. I wish I did. There was a time I used to get a lot of sleep. These days, I don't sleep. Sharon, I haven't seen anything about that. Now, this is a political message that's going to get an awful lot of traction. God forbid that this ends up being a case of an illegal coming across the border. There's a lot of people that want to run with this. The people that decide what you're going to look at are trying to paint a narrative on this. Do I believe that? Not for a friggin' minute. Bureau of Investigation, I'm sorry. And if you get political, I'm going to block your ass quicker than you can say fart. But the people that are investigating this are under the Trump administration. If this came across the border and was an illegal, oh, they'd love it. They'd love it. And the FBI is not going to bury that. I appreciate the research. I really do. I also saw the same report. I don't believe it for a second. If this isn't illegal, it has nothing to do with this woman missing. This isn't a false flag. This isn't a fake case. This is a missing woman who has family. If this turns out to be an illegal, I promise you we're not going to miss it any faster than if it was anything else. Hold on. Sorry, folks. Forgive me. By the way, shout out to Luis's Pizza, right? It's called the Italian Cafe in Salinas, Ecuador. One of the best pizzas. There's a lot of good pizza in Ecuador, but one of the best pizza joints you will find anywhere. Do you think Florida could still send samples as it is to Quantico to see if they could separate the DNA? I mean, in theory, they could, but at this point, they're all in, right? This is their reputation on the line as much as it is anything else. And by the way, they're good at this. The problem isn't whether or not they can separate the DNA. The problem becomes, will there be any DNA left after they separate it? Brian Koberger, they use 7 DNA cells. What if they sent that to 3 labs first? They needed all 7 of those. The next lab would not have been able to do the same thing. If they're degrading the DNA because they have to test it, then we're going to have problems. By the way, thank you for that super chat. That $20 makes a huge difference. I got hate mail today. Why are you not going live? I'm not trying to make money on this just because it's a story. If you don't believe that, I respect you. I get it, right? I'm a YouTuber. We're not known for our souls, right? However, I could go live 3 times a day and continue to do the same question and answer again and again and again. I'm not going to. I'm not trying to make a living off of this by milking it. If there's stuff to talk about, I'll talk about it. Hold on. Hey, thank you for the PayPal. The PayPal, I'm not trying to say that screwing over YouTube makes me happy. I would never say that. Tommy, soon we will have to move on, and this story will be Please don't do this to me today. I understand what you're saying. I'm not going to stop. I'm not. I'm going to keep talking about it. And if you guys stop watching, I understand. And I'm not even going to disrespect you for it. But I am not going to stop talking about this. And I don't think anyone else is either, honestly. I mean, I realize that we play to the masses and we play to the numbers, but I don't have any intention whatsoever. Let me close down just a couple of these other places, and maybe that will help. Did you see the video of a second suspect in the doorbell video after the balaclava? Yes, I have. Can't say that too often on YouTube and get away with it. I did see that. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people in my chat, a lot of people online think there are more than 2 people. I mean, more than 1 person there. The sheriff came out yesterday, Johnny Scoville, and said, hey, there may be an accomplice to that guy at the front. No, he did. He did. He said there may be an accomplice to that guy at the front door. If that's the first time you're thinking of that, we're in a lot of trouble. Give me 1 second. Genealogy expert said if having difficulty separating likely more than 2 DNAs in the sample. Also said the lab has excellent record. Yeah, no, this lab has solved crimes, people. I'm not bagging on the lab. You understand? I'm not. Honestly, I'm not. The communication is what sucks. When you come out and say, this is the holy grail, this is what's going to solve this case, then we run into problems, right? People go, how long did it take for them to say this was her DNA on the front step and eliminate anybody else? Why is it taking so long on the inside? And it can take a long time. It really can. If you understand the concept of what they're doing, and look, I'm no genius, man, not when it comes to this kind of stuff, but I watched a lot of geniuses talking about it. And you're taking a bunch of DNA cells and throwing it into a trash can. If in that trash can, you know the DNA sequence of 1 person, that's great. What if there are 2 others? It doesn't go like this. Oh, look, there's 1 DNA. Here's another DNA. We have 2 people in here. They mix. They commingle. It becomes a very if you had any idea how bad those blackouts are starting to bother me, I know they're bothering you. And thank you for your patience. I'm in South America. Why am I in South America? Because America sucks, especially for somebody like me. I was persecuted and I hadn't broken the law in 10 years. Every asshole that didn't like what I put up for content called the cops, told them I was dealing drugs, told them I was smuggling children, told them I was involved in human trafficking. I'm in South America because of the people, not the 1,000 of you who are in here right now. Honestly, only about 10 of them. But they would put up videos and say, call this number on the bottom and report Tommy Scoble for human trafficking. I don't traffic in human beings, right? I haven't broken the law in a decade and a half. I am a clean citizen. I'm a citizen of Ecuador. I have filed my paperwork to be a citizen of Ecuador. Unfortunately, the United States has gotten to a place where it is out of control. And one of the problems that we're having in the United States of America is that we don't listen to people that make sense. We listen to assholes that don't. I'm not being, crude or anything else. I'll get crude later. Did you see the video of the guy that pulls in the driveway 2 doors down from Luke's house, uses a flashlight and leaves? Do you think it's possible that Nancy was related to a drug deal? Here's the thing. Let me explain something to you. If you owe a drug dealer money, he's not snatching your grandmother. He's coming by and beating the ever-loving crap out of you. You know how I know that?
Damn.
I've owed a couple of drug dealers money in the course of my life. They're not beating up your family. That doesn't get you to pay. They show up and kick the shit out of you.
Even when your brother is one of them.
Right? Even if it's your brother, they're beating up. Oh, for the love of God. Sorry. This is all based on movies that most people have watched. It's not how the cartel does business. If you owe the cartel money, the cartel's going to hurt you. They're not going to hurt your family. If you think that gets people to pay, it gets people to call the cops. They come by and beat up you. You got to call the cops and go, the cartel came by and kicked the hell out of me. And you know what the cops say? I'm sorry. Why do you owe the cartel money? If the cartel comes by and beats up your mom or your mother-in-law, and you call the cops and say, the cartel just came by and beat up my mother-in-law, they don't much care what you did to piss off the cartel. If this doesn't make sense to you, grab a tack hammer, smack yourself in the head with it. They don't have to hurt your family to get you to pay. They hurt you. If you hurt your family who's done nothing wrong, then now you can go to the cops. Does this not make sense to anybody? Stop watching movies and thinking that's the real world. The cartel is a business. It makes Pepsi Cola, in some ways, look small. They make tens of billions of dollars. They don't fart around. Johnny Scoville, now, please, get over here. Thank you, people. I really apologize. I was having a bit of technical problems. I was just having a pinch of technical difficulties. This is one of those situations where I promise you, people. Yeah. Hold on, people. I'm sorry. Technical difficulties. Yeah. We're into a place where you got to stop watching movies and believing they're real. They're not going to come by and grab your grandmother because you owe them money. Why do cartels threaten family members or people who owe? They don't. I promise you they don't. And if you believe that, I'm not mad at you. But I promise you, you're talking to a guy that's owed a cartel's cash a couple of times in their life. You're also talking to a guy that robbed more cartel drug dealers than anyone you'll ever meet. I promise you. I had a 30-year career. I used to pistol whip them. I used to put them in trunks. They don't care. It's a business. If they lose $2,000 in a day, they're going to make 10 the next day. They will write you off, not hunt you down. Those are movies. This is a business. The cartels in the U.S. don't carry guns because the guns will get them prison sentences. If they're across the border illegally, they're looking at 5 years maximum, right? And that's if they decide to prosecute. And if you're in California, they're just going to kick you back to Mexico. There's a lot of states that don't care if you enter illegally. But in a state like Texas, even Arizona, if you enter illegally, they can put you in prison for 5 years. Get caught with a gun, you're doing 20. They're not going to go after anybody. I don't care how much money you owe them. And if you go, well, if he gets in 250,000, how do you get into a cartel for 250 grand? For real. Fronting 1,000 a day. You did it for 250 days. I promise you by day 20, they're going, no, we need your money. And if you don't pay them, they'll walk away and go on to the next guy. That may sound dumb to you, but $20,000 in cartel money is $800 in product. Get it? They're paying nothing. I used to go across the border to buy heroin at $1 a gram. $1 a gram. The cost of heroin, the cost for fentanyl is cheaper. You can't get into enough debt to piss off a cartel member enough to grab a family member. There's no cartel involved in this, not in the sense that you think there is. I promise you. Again, that Garcia detective out of California is claiming cartel, but low-grade cartel. Then he's an asshole. I'm sorry. He's an asshole. He spends a lot of time reading books. Maybe he knows something from being a cop on this side of the border. I ran up debts with cartels. For 30 years of my life, I fronted dope. Cartel members aren't going to go after your family. It doesn't get you paid. It brings cops into their life. They don't want cops in their life. You understand? They're paying $1 a gram. I'm paying 90. How much do I got to owe them before I'm actually a pain in their ass? You understand what I'm telling you? It doesn't, even by the time they've smuggled it across the border, they might have 25 bucks into the gram. How much do I got to get into debt before you're going to snatch a grandmother, kidnap her to get paid? It makes this much sense. But they got to keep putting up content. You understand? I watched a guy yesterday, a former Navy SEAL. A former Navy SEAL. I got more respect for Navy SEALs than I have for family members. These guys are gangsters in the truest sense of the word. But he came on and said, this is a robbery gone wrong. A robbery. That you showed up at 2 o'clock in the morning to a house. You don't know what's on the other side of the door. You're going to rob a house, do a home invasion at 2 o'clock in the morning. No way in God's green earth. You know this much about crime. I'm not trying to be a dick. I know criminals. I was a criminal most of my life. We don't rob houses if we don't know what's on the other side of the door. This is America. There's going to be a really decent chance that when you get on the other side of that door, there's somebody with a gun, right? We're looking for an easy payout. We're not looking for someone to shoot at us. And you go, well, he had a gun. The gun was for show. You don't want to pull out a gun. You know how many people have had guns in my life that literally have shown up with me and gone like this? And you go, come on, dude. You're going to shoot me? A hand cannon's going to go boom. Cops are going to come running. You're going to shoot me? Come on, dude. Put the gun away. You're embarrassing yourself. Is it possible they are having problems separating DNA because someone's DNA is too close to hers? No, that's not a possibility. In fact, if by some chance the DNA was close, that would make it easier, not more difficult. They're having a problem separating the DNA because they don't know any of the so here's how it works. Let's say you take 100% DNA, right? What percentage of it is from the person you know? Let's say they can eliminate Nancy because they have her DNA and she's 20% of that. Well, then you have 80% to work with. What if she's 90% of that? Then you have 10%. You have a very small DNA source. And if that is split between more than one person, this starts getting really hard. And if it's 3 people, forget about it. By what everybody says, you don't have a chance. 1,500 of you in here, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for notification. When I go live, you'll know about it. And hit that like button because, boy, Johnny Scoville,
Tell me.
that bothers YouTube. I'm not going to lie to you.
You know why, though? Here's why. You say false flag, suicide.
I say all the words you're not supposed to say. Could Nancy be at Duval Mine? Yeah, she could be knocked down any mine shaft. She could. However, if it were me and I was running those searches, the first place I would have flown over with all of those little, that device that they call the sniffer, that sniffs for not just a, what do they call that stuff? Bluetooth. Not just a Bluetooth signal, but her Bluetooth signal. They eliminate everything but her device. Those have a number on them. It's like an ID. That ID is looking just for her. They would have flown over those, but it's not a bad thought. Honest to God, it's not. I'm wondering if the neighbor called Adult Protective Services the same neighbor that said Annie did it. Here's the thing. We don't know what neighbor called them. But do you understand where that neighbor came from? I was really high on this. I really was. The cheap chick. I was high on this. I thought, well, this makes sense. Whoever called that knew something was going on. What they knew, unfortunately, is that they said she was missing. So a bunch of people called and they went out to investigate. It's not what we hoped it was. Sorry, people. I got wicked cotton mouth. I had a absolutely fantastic Italian meal tonight. Just in case you happen to be watching, the Italian Cafe in Salinas, Ecuador, got it together. I'm wondering if the neighbor that called Adult Protective is, oh yeah, I just hit that one. Sorry. You know what happens? This is usually right around the time that my chat stops. I don't know what it is with, swear to God, I need a new streaming platform, which bums me out because I've been with them a really long time. Interesting, the neighbors say no one knocked on their locked their doors in the neighborhood, before this happened. I wonder if Nancy's front door could have been left open since there isn't any sign of breaking in. They didn't break in through that front door. They did not break in through that front door. I would honestly bet the remainder of the time that I have on planet Earth that they didn't try to go through that front door. If they did, it was their first crime. And it didn't look like their first crime. You don't break in through someone's front door, man. The back door was left wide open. We have this from everything, right? Even the cops admitted that the back door was wide open. And I don't mean wide open as in nobody locked it. I mean, when they got there, that bad boy was still wide open. The person that went to the front door went there for one reason and one reason only. And that reason was to get rid of the Nest camera so that whoever pulled up to take them away wasn't on film. You follow me? But listen, do me a really serious favor, right? Because listen, shut up. I'm trying to be nice about this, but when you leave a comment like that, it sounds like you're yelling at me.
Your brother's an asshole.
And my brother's an asshole, right? And he's also a mod. I just stopped you from getting blocked because he's like, I'm blocking that. Here's the other thing, whether you believe it or not, everybody said to me the other day, why is your brother such an asshole about capital letters? YouTube hates it. Look it up. Google this and see if I'm lying. YouTube doesn't like people that leave stuff in caps. It's not good for the algorithm and not for nothing. I'm trying to make a living here. I didn't go live 3 times today for just coming back for more money and letting you spit theories. If I have nothing to say, I'm not going to go live. In the video, if you look at the background, it looks like it has. What's that?
It was Italian food.
Yeah, it was Italian food. Who said that? Was that Reese? It looks like it has weight in it and kind of shifts from left when he bends down. Thoughts? Nobody? Here's the thing, Sikorsky. There's a lot of reasons that backpack can have weight. Now, I'm going to talk to you just as a criminal, right? Retired, former criminal. If I went in there to snatch that woman, I wouldn't have walked out of there looking like a criminal. I would have walked out of there looking like a citizen. So I may have had all of that stuff on, but I would have had something in that backpack to change into. If I was there with one other person, I would have had something for them to change into. I would not have waited to go into the closet to find something to put this woman in. I would have had her a pair of sweats, a sweatshirt, a pair of sweatpants. I would have been prepared for when I walked in that door. I'm snatching the old lady. I'm putting her in sweats. I'm changing out. My partner's changing out. But that's me. Nancy is dead. Said somebody. Says Richard here. Get this up there. See if we can get there. You go. Nancy is dead. Study on Savannah's husband, Michael Feldman's connection to the Clinton family. What's their connection to the Clinton family? Just out of curiosity, what's the connection? What's the connection? Did they hang out? Did they party? Okay, so here's the connection to Feldman and the Clinton family. The closest I can get, and I don't sit around and rub one out all day. I actually do this, believe it or not. But the closest I can get is he was the press secretary for the Al Gore administration when Al Gore was running for president. It was a failed campaign. You remember this? A little something shit happened in Florida with hanging chads and whatnot, Johnny Scoville. But there is no connection per se to the Clinton family. It's like saying that I worked for the vice president, therefore I know the president and I hang out with him. Why in the name of God, right? Does this have anything to do with anything? I'm not trying to be a dick, but if by some chance, this goes right back to the Clintons. And it doesn't. If you're such a Republican that this is about the Clintons, you need to get your life in order. However, if it had something to do with the Clintons, how does this stop anything? Help me out. Has this slowed down the Epstein coverage? It hasn't. Not even slightly. So what's the game plan? What is the game plan? If by some chance, let's just say, I'll tell you what, I'll stipulate to your thesis. And let's say that her husband got drunk with Clinton every weekend for 9 years. How does that have anything to do with this? Almost 2,000 of you in here. Hit the subscribe button. Hit like. It pisses off YouTube. And we all know how much fun that is. No one does, and that's probably a good thing. Tommy, the sheriff said that they were on the Saturday night, and the paperwork for this file is also dated Saturday. Where was she really on Saturday? All right, look. If Sheriff Nanos tells you that today is Sunday, check a calendar. Everything that this jackass has said in the past, he's had to back off from. That's worth thinking about, right? We'll start right from the beginning, right from Jump Street. He gets there, the first press conference he does, what does he tell us? He says, when she didn't show up at church in Tucson, people called. That never happened. He said, when the family got there, they waited an hour and 7 minutes to call 911. That never happened. He said, the reason we knew there was 2 minutes that she entered the garage is because the cameras caught her going in and the garage door closing. Allegedly. That never happened. That's 3. And we're not 8 minutes into that douchebag's first press conference, right? Well, look at what we have here. Not just one of the funniest women on YouTube, Johnny Scoville, but a pretty sexy chick. That would be her there. That is my wife. Do me a favor. Stop by and hit subscribe at Relatable Reese. If you don't, I'll find where you live. You don't want that. Try me. You don't want that.
You know what? Be an asshole and see what I do to you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Say something dumb. Watch how fast Johnny Scoville kills you. He's in the mood. She didn't call Mark Kelly first. Well, that's a great statement, right? Everybody loves this. Before they called 911, she called Mark Kelly. She didn't call 911. She wasn't in the state. And he called 911. Just another great story. And we can keep repeating it. You keep repeating something long enough on YouTube, it becomes the truth. I promise. Keep doing it. Okay? Keep doing it. Keep repeating it. I'm not trying to be a douche. Maybe I am. And maybe I don't care. Why do you think of that? Huh? Tell your mom and them I said what's up. Did anyone search the sheriff's house? Ding, 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 ding. Yahtzee. Did I miss that?
You did.
Shut right up.
Review.
I missed this too.
Get your snap.
In the video, if you look at the back, it looks like a way. I know I did get that. Johnny Scoville says I'm losing it. Someone gave away a subscription to the Lifeboat.
Ruby Hoove.
I'm sorry?
Ruby Hoove.
Ruby Hoove. Goodbye. Ruby Hoove Day. Ruby Hoove, thank you so much. Someone just turned green on account of Ruby Hoove Day.
Ruby Hoove 9.
This guy is an egomaniac. Know-it-all type. Yeah, I have no idea what that means. Are you referring to me or somebody else? If you're referring to me, ain't no question. If you're referring to me, ain't no question, people. No, but I'm having a good time. Don't stop me. Unbox with Lori. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Listen, people. This DNA thing, if it doesn't make you unhappy, then you're not following this. How is it that the greatest DNA lab on planet Earth, which is in Quantico, Virginia, isn't the DNA lab that is trying to separate the different DNA from these criminals, right? Alleged criminals. Let's be really honest. It would be nice if they're criminals. We don't have any clue. It could be the last person that went in there that did home care. Yes, they come up with a pool of all the people's DNA, and all of these people allegedly have not only volunteered to give DNA, but they're also volunteering to take polygraph tests. That, however, doesn't prove that the DNA that in there is not somebody that was already supposed to have been in the house. We're holding our entire hope on this case on the fact that the DNA they found inside is going to produce something. I watched where he said they were where they were on Saturday. Paperwork was shown. It was dated Saturday. This is so corrupt. Well, it's also inept. I'd love to come out and say to you, this is a corrupt case. Truth of the matter is, I can't say that. I can tell you straight effing away, this is an inept case. That this is somebody that has absolutely no idea what they were doing. Did you hear the Mexican egg kingpin? Yes. Yes, in fact, I did. Oh, you got to do better than this. Don't get crazy, Scoville. You got to do better than this. I don't give a shit what is happening. It has nothing to do with Epstein. Are you hearing me? Repeat it with me on 3. Everybody? 1, no, do it. Hey, everybody, repeat it with me on 3. This has nothing to do with Epstein. You hear me? Nothing. It has nothing to do with Epstein. Somebody who's smart in my chat, impress the shit out of me. We're moving quick. You might have to put $1 on it. Explain to me how anything about this case could slow down the Epstein train, right? Somebody impress me. How has this got anything to do with Epstein?
I know.
No, you don't.
Is there a time delay? Is there a time delay?
No, that doesn't. No, you can't do that.
Then what is it?
No, you can't do that. And here's the other thing. If you're telling me this is about Epstein, ask who you voted for. You hate our president, and that's why this is about Epstein. Get your shit together. This is about a missing old woman, and it has nothing to do with Epstein. Let me say this one more time. Nothing to do with Epstein! Sorry. Oh, they need to search Nanos' house because he's been snorting on a big bag of dumbass. Dana, if you're going to do it, people, this is how you do it. If you think this is something to do with Epstein, I'm guessing somewhere in your house there's a hammer. Grab yourself. Smack yourself 3 or 4 times in the head with it. What in God's name has this got to do with Epstein? Because Savannah Guthrie did such a huge, hard-hitting piece on Epstein that if they could maybe send a message to her mom disappearing will tell everyone else, stop talking about Epstein. The Clintons will skate, Trump will skate, right? Sorry?
Retarded.
It's mentally retarded. I'm sorry. Smack yourself in the head with a tack hammer. Critical thinking. It went away right around the time that we started going blue and red. If you see a Democrat behind every door, you're a scumbag. And if you see a Republican behind every door, you're also a scumbag. Right wing, left wing, guess what?
Retarded bird.
Same retarded bird. I'm sorry, people. If you think this is political, then you really need to get your shit together. You're way too into what the hell you're going on. I mean, what you're voting on. Way too into it. Become a YouTube member, Jim Green. Good to see you, man. You look great in green. Couple of amateur jackwagons tried to do a snatch and grab for money. Probably roughed her up, causing her to have a heart attack. Dumped her, and now we're hiding her. You know what? Great jackwagon reference, by the way. And I got to agree, that is far more likely. Or maybe I'm scaring your animals. Wouldn't be the first time. In fact, hey, you know what? No, there's one right there. She's not scared. Squirrel nut zipper took off.
She's stupid.
Johnny says this cat's stupid. Zorro Ranch. Hey, look, here's the thing. This, with all due respect, isn't a question. Oh, shite. I tried to have it, but you guys are moving so quick. Zorro Ranch. Is that a question? Here's the thing with Zorro Ranch. Zorro Ranch has been purchased by a politician from Texas. That politician has said that they will allow anything to go on and searching to be done there. You're going to find bodies. What does that got to do with Nancy Guthrie, though? Didn't slow it down, did it? The people that bought Zorro Ranch, I think they bought it for just under $20 million, which is because of how bad things went, right? Because they should have been able to get a lot more than that. It's a massive, massive property. Absolutely gorgeous. However, how the hell does this slow that down? How has this slowed that down? Somebody do me a favor and go ask Andrew Montbatten Windsor If the whole thing going on right now with Nancy Guthrie has slowed down the Epstein investigation. Somebody go ask Mont Botten Windsor if he's feeling safe because somebody snatched Miss Guthrie. This is not about politics at all. How does an 84-year-old grandmother? Yeah. Well done, Bellapalooza. But here's the thing, truthfully. How in the name of God does this slow it down? Steal my mom to send me a message. Steal my mom to send me a message to shut up and watch how loud I get. Not only that, I'm going to hunt you down. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill your family. I'm going to kill your friends. I'm going to kill your pets. This doesn't slow people down. It pisses them off. If that doesn't make sense to you, then maybe, just maybe, you voted one direction or another, and that means more to you than anything in life. Right? Get your life together. If this is a red or a blue issue to you, then you need mental care. And I promise you, right, derangement syndrome, whether it's left or right, is real. Get your life together. By the way, if you have not hit subscribe to my channel, my wife's channel, you don't want me coming to your place, man. I'm incredibly violent. I can't back that up. I was really just a thief. But go hit subscribe at Relatable Reese. You'll thank me later. And hit Johnny Scoville's channel at Chase the Heat. I promise you, you will be happy. Who took her place covering the Olympics? Tim Trimble, that's a great question, but I didn't look. It's not about Epstein, but it seems something, maybe she did it in her past or something. Okay, now look. This is how you ask a question, right? It's intelligent, it's well thought out. However, how many people do you got to piss off to have more than one person there? Maybe this is a one-person gig. All I can bring to you is the criminal point of view. And if you hired me, and I'll say it again, I would not go snatch an 84-year-old woman. But if you hired me to, I wouldn't do it alone. Someone's going to knock out the front camera, right? Let's see if we still got this in the old database here, right? Da-da-da-da-da. All right, you see that? That's the driveway. You see that little strip of pavement there? That's a friggin' driveway. Guess where the getaway car would pull up? That getaway car would pull up in the driveway, which means you'd be on film, unless this guy right here in the baklava, little tip to the wife there, Johnny Scoville. She calls it a baklava, which is just a tasty treat. But the guy in the back in the balaclava is there to get rid of the camera. Why? So that when the getaway car pulls up, you're not going to walk an 84-year-old woman hundreds of yards away to put her into a car, even if you don't know she has a heart condition. Some people say 50 yards, that's 150 feet. Some people say 50 feet. Any way you shake her, she's not getting ready to run a marathon. So they needed a getaway driver. That guy's there to get rid of the camera. You follow me? So more than one person. If I don't like neckbeard, then I like somebody that's just pissed off at Savannah Guthrie and wants to hurt her. But how do you get a couple of accomplices? This is a three-man job. If you don't believe me, you don't have to. I'm not mad at you. But this is a three-man job from a criminal standpoint. What do I think the motive was? You know what? Sharon Z always asks good questions. It's starting to – you got game, Sharon Z. I'm sorry, I really do. I go back to money, right? I'm a criminal or was. I'm retired. I'm sorry. I'm a retired criminal.
Am I a criminal?
Yeah, but I'm retired.
No, I'm retired.
But I will say this. I always go back to money until I have another reason. It's always about money until it isn't. So I think at this moment it's still going to be about money. And I still like neckbeard. Go ahead and hate me. I still like neckbeard for this. I do. Have to catch you on the next one. YouTube freezes up, hurting my head. Well, that's probably my fault, honestly. But thank you, Gary Mackey. You are a stud always, and the support keeps me on the air. People, you may know something if you watch long enough. I say rape. I say gun. I say suicide. Am I missing anything?
I just deleted somebody probably didn't deserve it.
Fix it.
No, bullshit.
Stacy says the blood on the porch might have been planted. Why wasn't it clear down the walkway? Well, I understand why you would say this, right? Let's go with all the ways that could happen. Let's say as you're going out through the front door, you got the person lopped over your shoulder. Why? Because you're going to have to shut the door, do all those things. As soon as you're done with that, you grab the person, drop them into a baby position. Now they're dripping right down their chest, and it does go down the walkway. It only goes about 6 feet down the walkway, right? But it started to.
We're all kind of mad here. Surprised you know that. It says Barbara Way.
We're all Well played, Barbara Wade. You know what? If you're just trying to get on here because you're using an Alice in Wonderland reference, I still respect the hell out of that. Have I got the wrong arm? No, there's Alice. I'm an Alice in Wonderland fan. Surprised you didn't know that. Do you think it could be unrelated to her kids and the son or grandson or a woman who just Nancy? Do I think it could be unrelated? No, I think that this comes down to money. Look, here's the thing. If this is the first time you've ever watched me on True Crime, it's about money until you can prove to me it's not about money, right? I spent 13 years in prison. Everybody I met was in there for dope or for money. That's it. So if it's not coming down to money, then it's bad wiring. And if it's coming down to bad wiring, then one person did it. Doesn't look to me like one person did this. So it's about money until you can prove to me it's not about money. So you went into Snagger. You thought you were going to ransom her off to her rich daughter, and you killed her in the getaway car. Why in the getaway car? Because when she left, her pacemaker was attached to the base. It was saying she was still alive, and it was saying it was on her Wi-Fi. Didn't happen at Annie's. It was her Wi-Fi. She wasn't dead. We know that. So the only thing that makes sense to me is that this is a kidnapping gone wrong. What are your thoughts on if someone wants to keep showing on camera the limelight, as many murderers tend to do this, and maybe let her? Oh, yeah, no. Here's the thing. One of the reasons I think that Sheriff Dumb Bastard recently decided to cut this down to a one-way street. Now, if you want to enter the Guthrie Street, you have to do it from one direction. It's only one way. And they're going to be looking at every single person because maybe in the last 20 days, the sick bastard's driven by that house 25 times just to catch a buzz. Or maybe the person is playing with TMZ and Harvey Levin is just making it happen because Harvey's got less. See that? Huh? That was from Mama Scoville. Because Harvey has less soul than anybody on planet Earth. Honest to God, I would rather spend time with Ted Bundy than Harvey Levin. Harvey's a scumbag.
Bundy over Levin?
Yeah, no, I'd go with Bundy over Levin. Yeah, at least we knew who Ted Bundy was. Harvey pretends. That's why YouTube advertisers pay so much for anything that can make you money. You're right. Money is king. You're right. And God forbid you say rape. Can't say rape, right? God forbid we're going to offend all of the people that are running ads. Can't say rape. Can't say homicide. Can't say murder. Can't say gun. How many people have you watched that do what I do for a living that have come on and said they're stopping by stores that sell pew-pews? Pew-pews, right? Miss me with that crap. They sell guns. Guns are designed to kill people. They're for murder, right? They're for defense. I'm not playing any of those games. Sorry, I'd rather not make money. And you know what? It doesn't matter because you guys give super chats. It keeps me on the air. Amen. So do we still think she's in Mexico? Anna, I never thought she was in Mexico, ever. Let me explain something to you guys who have never committed crime. The cartels in Mexico don't give a shit what you want to do as long as it doesn't interfere with their business. If you grab an 84-year-old American white woman and bring her into Sonora, Mexico, right? Sonora, Mexico is on the other side of Nogales. So you go across that border crossing. You go from Nogales, you go into Sonora. In Nogales, right, you're in the United States of America. That's owned by the United States of America. You go into Sonora, that's owned by the Sinaloa cartel. And watch how much sense of humor they got of anything. And I mean anything that screws up their business. They would turn those people in like this. You go, now they're criminals. They would turn them in that fast. Why? Because 44% of all the dope in the United States is coming through that corridor. They don't want to screw that up. It's a business. That may not make sense to you, but I spent a lot of time doing dirt with those businesses, and they don't give a shit about anything else. Rob them? Go ahead. Go ahead. You're not going to rob a $5 million loader. They're going to kill you. But you want to take $1,000 off of one of their peddlers? They got $60 into that. They don't give a shit. They want to get to the next day and make another 10 grand, and they'll just cut you off. It's a business, and it is a ironclad, etched in stone. They got their you-know-what together business. Hey, there's a lot of you in here. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Smack subscribe and hit the bell for notification. And if you don't thank me later, then you should go by and check out Relatable Reese, because if I'm offending you, my wife probably won't. She's a much nicer person than I am. And good looking, forget about it. That's wedding night. by the way. If you guys didn't catch that, that is the wedding night. And if that offends you or embarrasses you, think about the poor guy that had to take the picture. YouTube will let content creators drop the F-bomb and other disgusting words, yet they won't allow. Yeah, right? Can't say rape. You can drop F-bomb all day long. Or you can come out and say that I molest collies on the weekends because that's free speech. But if you say rape, false flag, Israel, Mossad, 15, 16-year-old, any of those things, go ahead, demonetize it. I don't live on monetization. I wish I did, but I'm never going to be that guy ever again. I don't give two you-know-whats. Hold on, check it out.
Two shits.
It's for YouTube right there. Right? Are the eyebrows good, YouTube? Just checking. Just checking. For real, this is one of those situations where if this isn't starting to make you uncomfortable, then you're not following the case much. Any word on Dominic? He's MIA, right? By the way, let me tell you a little something about Dominic. There's somebody, I wish I could remember their name because I would give them props. But somebody sent me a picture of Dominic. He's the drummer in the band, and he's going like this. And there's a really great picture of a tattoo on his wrist. Kind of looks like it might have the same kind of tattoo that you saw on that camera, people.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. But why is it that they're not talking about it? I mean, look, if you got to keep something close to the vest, I'm not mad at you. Honest to God, I'm not. But don't come out and tell us stupid stuff like, hey, we have a device that's going to track down just her pacemaker. Maybe we don't need to know that. But you see this guy on...
I've already deleted it, but give him some shit.
What's his name?
His name was the Blue Texan. Said it's Trump's fault.
Hey, the Blue Texan, do me a favor. Smack yourself in the head with a tack hammer, you half a freaking retard. This is Trump's fault. No doubt. I was telling Johnny Scoville earlier, I would bet you anything Trump kidnapped this woman. I mean, it just makes perfect freaking sense, right? The president of the United States felt the need to send the CIA down there to send these ass clowns who could look this professional, right? That's them. Check it out, people. Pay attention, right? This is for that blue bastard in Texas who literally doesn't have enough brain power to fire a 60-watt light bulb. This is the CIA. These are the same crew that went into a country and snatched the president and got out of there without losing anybody. But these are the geniuses they sell to cover up the Epstein case. What's his name again? Blue what?
Blue Texan. Makes total sense.
Nah, it makes total sense. Blue Texan, I apologize for my brother deleting you. You're a rocket scientist. I wish you and I could spend the weekend together. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you voted Democrat. By the way, I don't give a shit what party you voted for. But if the party you voted for is making you wonder who did this, get your life together. You're an idiot. This isn't political, people. Right? False flags don't have real victims very often. They don't. I'm sorry, they don't. Fly a bunch of drones off of the course of Connecticut. Or if they're going to have victims, they're not going to be personally attacked. They'll wipe out half a country for a false flag. Think, what's the name of that thing? The pandemic, right? But false flags almost always are designed to divide us, right? To argue amongst each other. Then the government can come in and fix it. Get it? Who the hell is pissed off at?
You're a smart audience. They know that politics doesn't matter.
I think T&H hired Dominic. Well, you know what? How do you argue with this as logic? Whether you're right or not, Allie, whether you're right or not, how do you argue this logic, right? The drones were New Jersey too. Yes, they were. In fact, a lot of them were off in New Jersey. And you know what? It got everybody arguing, didn't it? But not like COVID did. Can't say COVID either, Johnny Scoville. That's on the list. Plandemic, can't say that, right? Can't say Fauci. Can't say Fauci. But when the epidemic was going on and brothers and sisters wouldn't talk because one wanted to wear a mask and the other didn't, or one wanted to take the jab and the other didn't.
Kimberly Bruner says you have too much anger tonight.
I have too much anger tonight? All right, let's shut this thing down. Kimberly, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel bad. Truthfully, I do. Tommy, it was reported that there was a good possibility she was taken to Colorado. Makes a lot more sense to me than Mexico. I've done a lot of dirt in Mexico. I've done a lot of dirt in other countries. I once smuggled a lot of drugs into Australia. Shh. You can't imagine what it's like crossing an international border while committing crimes. Dominic was at the door while Neckbeard was inside getting her restrained. I don't think Neckbeard went in, Sikorsky. I can understand why you would say that, but too much risk of being spotted. If this was really about kidnapping, you don't want that woman knowing who you are. However, if it was about killing her, why not just kill her in the house? Why do you got to take her out of there? You know? By the way, if I seem too angry tonight, you can blame this on Reese. I haven't seen her naked in days.
I don't believe that.
Too much? Did I go over?
Just a little bit.
It's all on you, Reese. I'm kidding. No, but for real. It's one of my favorite people on the entire planet, people. If you've never checked out her channel, it's called Relatable Reese. You're going to thank me later.
Your brother has a channel.
Honestly, you want to see somebody with a bit of an edge who isn't going to really offend you? Check out my wife, Relatable Reese. Or you can check out Johnny Scoville at chasetheheat.com. See that? Zero fucks.
Such a second thought.
At one time, it was called Zero Fucks Given. And you're right. I'm not angry, man. Wait till you see me angry. Who said it was an illegal? Look, I don't know exactly who said it was an illegal. I'll be honest with you. I don't give a rat's ass. I don't know about you, but I don't care. Whether they're illegal, whether they're a citizen, that has so little to do with this, in my opinion. Now, don't get me wrong. This side of the bird or that side of the bird will have a friggin' field day with it. If it's your mom, do you give a shit? Honest to God. If it's your mother, do you care whether or not this is going to come back for the people that want blue hair and ice to get out of the country? Or the people with swastikas who want to, scream about this being, everybody's got to go. It doesn't mean anything to me, man. This is an 84-year-old woman missing. She has a family. This is a tragedy. Can we concentrate on that? I don't know, man. How easy it would be for them to get her meds and keep her alive? If you were buying them in Mexico, it's a joke. However, you're going to leave a paper trail. If you were smart. Now, here's the thing. People said to me on one of my comments, and by the way, it's not a dumb comment. It's half-ass astute. But one of the people said, if you went in and said to the pharmacist, this is the list of drugs I need, and they said it's $130, right? And you said, well, I'll give you $500, but I don't want you telling anybody about this. They would absolutely keep their mouth shut, except to the cartel. And I bought drugs at pharmacies in Mexico for decades of my life, and they're owned by the cartels. I didn't have any problems because I was very happy to pay the cartels exactly what they wanted. But you can piss off a cartel, and they don't have a sense of humor in the traditional sense of the word. Okay, what if it was like a hired thing through and she was taken out and disposed of somewhere, and it was still made to look like a kidnapping? Here's my problem with that. It could happen, right? But as a criminal, right? From a criminal standpoint, you got to be mentally retarded. It's like saying to somebody, I'm going to steal a case of beer from 7-Eleven, and I'm going to kill 3 people down the street to cover me stealing the case of beer. When you elevate a murder, which will have 4 or 5 people working it, to a kidnapping that is going to bring in the FBI, it's going to bring in the hostage evacuation team, it's going to bring in, the HRT, the hostage response team, it's going to bring in people that you don't need looking at this, man. Was Ilaria being rude? Ilaria's never been rude here before. I don't know what Ilaria said, Quibs. I missed that, but Ilaria usually has pretty good comments and it normally isn't rude. If she is, though, I will bitch slap her back to the Stone Age because that's how I get down. And if you don't like it, just past the water cooler on the left-hand side, you'll see an exit sign. Just hit it. It's not an airport. You don't have to declare that you're exiting. You can just leave me, and we'll still be friends in a different world. Why does the police report say she was reported missing on Saturday, January the 31st at 7 p.m.? I haven't seen that, Taylor Miller, and I'm not doubting you. But if I had to go out on a limb, I would say that it's because the police are being run by Sheriff Nanos, who, not for nothing, but Johnny Scoville's foot cheese is more intelligent than Sheriff Nanos. I get told I'm snippy all the time. Oddly enough, first time I've ever heard it. So you know what? I got an attitude problem. I don't live in your country. Not much chance of me coming by your door. I live in Ecuador. If you're in Ecuador, put a 2 in the chat. I don't think we're going to get a lot of 2s. What do you think? Do me a favor, people. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell for notification. And if you don't like me, it's all good. hit the like button. I'll take the down button, one way or the other. I'm cool with it. I know what you're saying, but it's quite possible that the person or persons that were involved in this are that smart, are that smart, and was still about money, and maybe they were going to get their share. Right. However, here's the thing. So if I go in there and I'm going to rob the house and things go bad, I'm still stealing everything from the house. But why would I not steal the gold? Why would I not steal the dope? I'm a robber. I went in the house to hit a lick, right? That's the term. I went in there to hit a lick. The old lady gets in the way, I'm still hitting the lick. I went in there for the gold. I went in there for the jewels. I went in there for fentanyl patches, right? We'll see that. Oh, and I will. Don't get it messed up, woman. That's my wife. Can't really crap on her because I love her. But yeah, no, I'll pass go. What if Nancy's custom was to take an Uber to her daughters? Well, we don't know that. We do know she took an Uber that night. The Uber driver has been polygraphed. She's given up her DNA, so we don't have a lot to worry about with that particular DNA driver. I mean, with that particular, Uber driver. Maybe that was what was standard operating procedure. If the sheriff had this much on the ball, he would put that out there. Instead, what he'd rather do is bitch about us armchair quarterbacks and internet sleuths. Give us nothing and watch us theorize. Okay? Give us nothing. You're a scumbag. My brother, man. I'm going to turn the camera around in a second and out my brother because he's no damn good, man. He's no damn good. Tommy, did you just say Johnny Scoville foot cheese is smarter? Yeah, but I said that before he started acting like an asshole. Oh, I'm sorry. You better knock that off, dude. Swear to God, I don't even like Johnny Scoville. Could it be possible the sheriff is covering his ass? I think the sheriff really digs all of the press. He's doing 10-minute interviews. He's doing them on European, right? The BBC. You know what that stands for?
Yeah, British Broadcasting Communication.
F you for banning the Blue Texan. You don't even listen to the evidence. Hey, tell your mom I said.
They're already deleted.
No, but you know what, Street Queen? What evidence am I not listening to, you asshat? Honest to God. You're right. No, you got it. You got it. You nailed me. I'm ducking this because I'm in on it. I'm part of the engine that's covering up the Epstein file. Do me a favor. Tell your mom I said, why didn't she swallow? Super Sticker Black Cougar says, thank you, and I appreciate the hell out of that for $5. No shit. Your mom should have swallowed. Not you, Black Cougar. I'm referring to the last woman that I just got rid of.
Man, you know what? I just deleted the wrong person.
Well, you better fix it.
Why fix it?
You better tighten up your game, Johnny Scoville.
I'll tell you what. I had.
Sorry, Reese, I wasn't trying to be rude to you. Just want Johnny to get some love before his heart gives out. And you know what, Ilaria? If it wasn't for my wife, if it was not for the beautiful Reese, my heart would have given out a long time ago. That's probably something worth saying. If you don't have a person in your life that really loves you, you need to work on it. If you're that woman that just left, you're an absolute worthless whore. The rest of you, though, yeah, I really understand. Was that too much? Did I go off sides?
Pretty
Is that am I angry? I'm sorry. Johnny Scoville says I need to back off, and I apologize if I just said that about you. You're not really a worthless. You are though. Would you agree that Savannah most likely knows who did this? Gregory, do I swallow? Well, it's not a very nice thing to say, Gregory. I mean, is there cash involved? You trying to work something out? Shoot me an email. Right? I mean. It's not normally my get down, but if the cash is right, I mean, we'll work something out, Gary. Gregory, I'm not sure where you're going with that, but I'm not mad at you. You know, look, I don't shame anybody's kink if that's your get down. Facts over feelings. Keep being yourself, bro. I promise. Who did, fam? Here's the thing, man. If I don't piss off enough people, I don't care. What do you think of that? I don't. I never have. That's why I didn't have any subscribers. You guys are hitting the thumbs up. You're hyping the hell out of my videos. You're hitting subscribe and you're hitting the bell for notification. I'm getting subscribers. If I didn't, I'd still be doing the same show. What do you think of that? Right? I don't care. I'm an ex-con. What do you want? Right? I was a bank robber. I was a gun runner. I got my life in order. If that doesn't make sense to you, write down just past the water cooler on the left-hand side. Alicia, I personally thought you scored a field goal. See that? Alicia's been around a long time, though. Alicia's good people. No lie, though, Tommy, your channel is refreshing to watch and objective. Thank you for that. Well, thank you, Sikorsky. A lot of people just call me an asshole, but I'll take either way. What does they say in that movie? No, you're not just an asshole. Where's Quibs when you need her? You're not an asshole. I think you're just kind of a son of a bitch. Well, thank you. The Easter Bunny neckbeard did it. And I'll tell you something. Mop man, I hope you got my correspondence. I love Mop. I really do. Mop, keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you, man. Not enough people in this world fighting to be better people.
You don't tell me you're proud of me.
What's that?
You never say
I said that like 4 years ago. I told you I was proud of you. What are you talking about? Well, you haven't done much since. It's not my fault. Question, is it possible Nanos and these insider tips are lying to throw off? Absolutely. Right? Ones that did it. Yeah, absolutely. Good God in heaven. Did you hear that? The hell was that? It sounded like a tank. No, yeah, Debbie, absolutely this is a possibility. It's been done on so many cases, man. It's been done on so many cases. I'm glad, Mop. I really am. This has been done on so many cases, Debbie, and there's a chance that that's exactly what they're doing, man. And let's hope that's what it is. I'd feel a hell of a lot better if I thought this was a hustle. If I thought this guy really wasn't this bad, right? My family would pay to have the kidnappers keep me. Hey, I've said that too. I think my wife might even back me up on that, right? They want $6 million. Reese would be like, I'll give you 150 if you keep him until next Saturday. How did Barney Fife get his job? He was elected, Roberta. He was elected. And here's the thing. If you're an incumbent, if you're already the sheriff in office, who are you running against? I promise you're running against another cop. That cop, unfortunately, got benched, right? The sheriff came out and said, well, she's under investigation. Her name was Heather. She's under investigation because of a fraud thing and blah, blah, blah. He won by 650 votes or some shit. So he stole the election. We all love how unapologetically real you are. You know what? I'm starting to believe that. I really am. However, I've been this unapologetic for a really long time. This case has propelled me, which is a beautiful thing because you got my word. I'm not going to change. By the way, you know what tomorrow is, Johnny Scoville? And audience, it is the arraignment for Nick Reiner, the guy that killed Rob, allegedly. I don't have to say that anymore. I'm in South America. The guy that killed his parents. Spanks Calhoun's was today too. Yeah. By the way, it was Spanky Calhoun's birthday. And my niece, which would be Johnny Scoville's daughter. All right, people, I'm going to wrap this thing up. I usually don't go this long. Do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for notification. Then get over there immediately and hit that hot chick. She's that relatable Reese. And she's me without all of the I can't back that up. She's way tougher than I am. But you want to understand what I'm saying. She's got a way better sense of humor. Hi from Canada. Let's see what Melanie has to say. Hi from Canada, wondering if we're paisans. You mentioned you're from Italy. May I ask what part of Italy you're from? If I say this out loud, my family's going to get bummed out. But let's just say that southern island that nobody wants to admit that they're from. How about we go with that? Too much?
Yeah, I don't get it. Anytime Italian, there's no saying where from.
I'm from Sicily. My ancestors are all from Sicily. I'd rather chew on a piece of tinfoil while shaving my legs with a cheese grater than believe this was a conspiracy theory put out by the talking heads. Well played, Sikorsky. I like it. I absolutely like it. Hey, Reese. I'm looking for a little late night phone sex if you got nothing going on.
Wow.
Too much?
A little offside.
Did I?
Yeah.
I thought we were done. Are we still live?
You're live.
Sorry, I thought we were live. Reese, I'll give you a call. All right, people. Between now and the next time I see you. Wait a second. What do we got here? Scova Brothers has kids on the same day. Yeah, that is odd. And here's the thing. We're only what? How old's your daughter? We're only about a quarter of a century in, and we just figured that out today. It's a little embarrassing. Is what it is. For a lot of that time, I was on dope. You're going to have to forgive me. Oh, no, that's not rivals. No, you're good. You're good. All right, people, I'm going to call this a night. Between now and the next time I see you, get over there, smack subscribe to my wife's channel. I'm trying to get her naked. And between now and then, put a little smile on your face. Check out Chase the Heat. That's Johnny Scoville's channel. And you know what? If I offended you tonight in any way, shape, or form, I just wanted to say that. Have a good night.